All right, so I will talk about a film that I've been hearing through the grapevine called Kill, right?
Sure.
And just letting you know one time, that is probably the most appropriate title to a movie I've seen in years, right? Like that title tells you everything you need to know, right? So what it is, right? It's basically an Indian movie, right? Well, an action film, right? It's been doing the film festival route. I saw that it was in TIFF. I think it was last year's TIFF, right? And yeah, Lionsgate, got the rights to distribute it and whatnot, right? So yeah, what I mean, it's I'm not really talking about box office, but yeah, more people are gonna check it out now that Lionsgate is helming it, right? Or I should say handling things, so to speak, right? So what it's about in a nutshell is that it centers on the character of Amrit, right? Who is this commando, right? Well, we're snickering because we both know a guy called Amrit, right? Shout out to Amrit. And I actually did, I did recommend that he check it out as well too.
Yeah,
I think he will lose his shit when he find out that the star boy in the show have his name, right? So that's cool.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, so he is all right. So you have a girlfriend called Talika, right? And surprise, surprise, she's actually engaged to somebody else because she father rich, and it's like, what? No, you should marry this guy, right? But he's still like, and the whole excuse is that he's too focused on his job and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, Amrit feeling that kind of way about it, and basically he just want to get back with Talika, right? So she and her family on the way to this particular spot for the wedding, right? And he tags along with him and his friend, right? His partner, commando partner there as well, right? So they're on this train, and there are these bandits that are on this train that just there to rob people, steal shit, and just stop off at a particular point and bust out, right? That was the plan, that was the mission, right? But then the leader and the son of the leader realized that, Talika's father is rich, right? He's this millionaire. I think he owns this this transport company. Well, this car company, or I think it was something with transport, right? That's what it is, right?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, if we kidnap this man, yeah, demand a ransom, we make a ton of cash, right? Boom, 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 right?
Right.
But, as you expect in movies like this, they did not expect that there was going to be this badass commando there called Amrit on the train.
Is this Diad on a train?
Actually, no, because it's not like it's not like the characters are all taken hostage or whatever it is like that, right? But what it kind of like, when I was thinking about it, right? That's just jumping in the review right here, right? It have bits of bullet train into it, where the majority of the movie is set on this fast moving train, right? But just getting into the title of the show itself, right? I'm not gonna spoil how it leads here, right? This show, and like I'm just there watching the show, being involved in what's going on and whatnot, right? This has one of the best title reveals of a movie that I've seen all year, Dread. It comes in at an unexpected time, but it is at the right time. It is at the most appropriate time, right? And when it shows up, trust me, you will be cheering at that shit, or like internally you'll be like, yes, this is perfect, right? Because from that point, our hero just starts flat out killing people, right? And it is, in terms of what he went through at this point, it makes a lot of sense, right? So one thing this show nails very well, is the action, though. That's the way how the fights and the action sequences are all set up, right? Because remember, all this stuff is taking place within this train, right? So you're working with a lot of tight spaces here, right? And I felt like in terms of the fight sequences, it absolutely works, right? And it's justified why these characters don't use guns, in particular the villains. It's established early on why. Because I'm just there thinking, if like our hero had a gun or access to a gun, yeah, this problem would have been solved very quickly, right? But no, it's justified why he has to use his fists and his legs. He's kicking ass and breaking bones and whatnot. And our villains have blades, right? They have machetes and whatnot. So it makes sense why it's like that, right? people have been kind of comparing this to the Raid, and it has a similar style to it, right? Where it's just brutal, bare knuckle action, slash fight sequences, right? Again, a lot of bones are being broken. It's painful as hell. People get stabbed and it's brutal and whatnot, right? And yes, it is very visceral, but it totally works in terms of what the show is about, right? I do like how the show plays subtly with convention as well, right? Because at first you're thinking, oh, the show is gonna go on somewhat of a romantic route or somewhat of a rom-com kind of route, right? But it's like, nope. Once the band start doing their thing, it's like, okay, shit's gonna get serious here, right? And then you're just thinking, oh, it's just hero just beating people up and we should cheer for him, right? But then that thing happens and then the title shows up and then it's like, oh, this is really what you're gonna get. And yeah, it's just basically this guy who has been pushed over the edge. So when he is legit killing dudes in the most practical ways imaginable, it's like, yes, it is justified. It makes a lot of sense, right? So yes, so I would say as far as just the brutality and just the visceral nature of these fight scenes, yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, right? But if you enjoy that style of, martial arts or action films where it's just very rugged, very, grim, let's just say very rugged, raw, when it comes to the fight scenes, where you're wincing every time you hear a bone break or when somebody gets punched in the face or gets stabbed in the chest or whatnot, right? Yeah, you're going to be entertained by this, right? I thought that the direction was strong with this as well. And in particular, just the set piece of it being on a train, it works so. And I just love how they just play with space in terms of just the tightness of certain, just of the train itself, right? Of course, you're going to have characters going from compartment to compartment, and I like how they do that well. One concern I had going into the show was that with its runtime being about an hour and 45 minutes, I'll just say like, oh, this show is literally gonna run out of steam like real early, but like no, they somehow managed to keep this story going, right? Keep things fresh, right? If I have one gripe though, is that they do set up something involving Talika's dad, right? And a particular reason why they would want to kidnap him, right? Or why he's bad in their eyes, right? And you could tell it's about class, right? It's about the whole class system. Because yeah, these bandits broke, right? They are lower class guys. And you can kind of understand why they do what they do, right? But it's just for them to be compelled to be so violent towards other people, especially strangers that they just robbing. I felt they could have had a little bit more, context behind that, right? And at times they do kind of come off desperate, like, if we leave this train, it'll be even worse off for us, you know what I mean? Because the police will be after us. And they kind of set that up so, okay, they have to stay on the train, right? And basically become victims to our hero, right? But I felt they could have just explored that a little bit more. Like for me, I was just waiting for a big reveal as to why Talika's dad is, so not so much feared, but there's so much like, okay, we really shouldn't touch this guy, but we should, like, we really take that risk if we try to kidnap him, right? I felt they could have established that a little bit better. It was just kind of like desperation, like, we just don't really know what we were doing, because the job was just simply to just rob some people and leave. But now things get kind of going from bad to worse because, oh, this guy is here, right? Well, this millionaire guy, but then also this badass guy and his partners there, they're just killing people, so we don't know what to do, right? So they are not the smartest of villains, they really are not. But in terms of just the reasoning that they kind of had, this sort of last minute reasoning as to why they should stay on the train, and they do oftentimes bicker, we should leave, but no, we should stay and all that. It adds some depth to the film, but I just felt that we could have gotten more in terms of, yeah, what would really push them or propel them to even do something like this in the first place, right? As far as the hero goes, it's all justified why Amrit does what he does, why he goes apeshit on these characters, why he's just killing them and whatnot. And yeah, it is visceral as all hell, but it works, right? It totally works, right? So yeah, surprise, I enjoy the hell out of this, right? For me, it is a guilty pleasure movie. It's one of those shows that you're really not supposed to think about too much, even though it does take itself seriously at times, right? And it's justified as well when it does that, right? But in the end of the day, it is just ass kicking badassery literally from start to end. That's really what it is, right? And the most amazing thing about this movie, though, is that even with its runtime, it never runs out of steam, though. It just always keeps you engaged, right? Whether it's the cinematography, which I thought was excellent, or the action sequences I thought was superbly handled, or just the character. It was just the lead character, and you rooted for him to just survive this and just, beat the shit out of these characters, right? That's what it is, right? Yeah, it works so, and it just makes for, just a great time, right? And I would say, if you're just looking for an action movie to watch, like on a Saturday night or whatever, yeah, pop this in, man. You'll have a blast with it. Or just whenever you feel like watching action movies, right? And don't let the fact that this is a non-English language film, stir you from watching it. Even with the subtitles and whatnot, because yes, you will have to read. Yeah, it's a blast. So it's just entertaining from start to end. And yeah, that's all I want from a movie literally called Kill, right? So for me, as a guilty pleasure, I'm giving this a decent, a strong 4 out of 5. Easily one of the most enjoyable action movies I've seen all year. And once again, a show that literally lives up to the title. Again, it has the best title reveal, one of the best title reveals I've seen all year, Dread. And that alone is the reason why you should check it out, though. But from there, don't just think when the title shows up, that's it, keep watching this film, though, because yeah, trust me, you will be entertained as all hell with what happens next, right? So yeah, can't recommend this movie enough.